Dusitthani is Sri Lanka's one and only luxury high-rise apartments to be built in the near future. To talk about this organization, it's with great pleasure I'd like to introduce Managing Director of the company, Ajit, and Sampath in our studios this morning. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Derek, for having us, Derek.
Ajit, first of all, will you be able to briefly tell us about Dusitthani?
Dusitthani is an international chain of hotels. There's approximately 50 hotels throughout the world. It's a public company listed in Thailand, and they started in 1960. It was initially a private company owned by a family, and now it's a public company with hotels in Thailand, Dubai, Maldives, China. So basically, they're all over the world, and they have a 5-star brand called Dusitthani. They got a 4-star brand called D2.
Mm-hmm.
But in Sri Lanka, it's a Dusitthani 5-star brand in Balapitiya, which is between Bentota and Hikkadua. So it's on the main beach strip, tourist beach strip in Sri Lanka.
Now this beachfront in Balapitiya, why did they select that area, and with the tourists booming, is that a right place?
With the Southern Expressway, once you get to the expressway, it's about 45 minutes. And from the airport, it's about an hour and a half with the new freeway.
Yeah.
And the best beaches, many tourist operators would agree, is between Bentota and Galle.
Ajit, I saw some footage and it looks fantastic. Will you be able to tell our viewers how the facilities?
Yes, sure. What we're trying to do is create something like the Gold Coast in Sri Lanka. I see Sri Lanka like how the Gold Coast was in the 70s and 80s, where you have the motels, but you don't have apartments in Sri Lanka. So, for example, if a family goes down south, invariably you have to get 2 rooms. Children stay in one room, the adults stay in another room. But what we are doing is we are building apartments on the beach, so the whole family can stay in an apartment. And also in our development, we're going to have 15 bars and restaurants, and also a large convention center for large weddings, which can seat 800 people, and also for business events. So we're going to have a function center and also have world-class restaurants and bars and apartments in one location, like what you have in Australia, in the Gold Coast, or even in the Docklands in Melbourne. Sri Lanka lacks that. It's like in the 70s when we had the little motels in Australia. That's what Sri Lanka has at present.
That sounds excellent. Now, if someone wants to invest, how do they go about?
Yes, sure. We have freehold apartments for sale. And the model is people can buy the apartments and then they can lease back to be run by Dusitthani, and they get a 6% net return in US dollars. Plus they get 21 days free stay in the apartment. So if you opt for the 6% guaranteed, then that is net. So if you invest $100, you get $6 back. The investors can also choose to go on the rental pool instead of the guaranteed, whereby they can get the rental that the hotel generates.
So they got 2 options.
2 options as to the cash flow. But the main thing is they get 21 days free stay on top of that in a 5-star hotel.
So with the comparison of the head office in Thailand with that format, will you have the same facilities in Sri Lanka?
It's a Dusitthani 5-star standards that's maintained in Dubai, Maldives, Thailand, China, Singapore, and all the other locations. So they have the Dusitthani standards that will be maintained throughout.
Sampath, now you represent this company for the Melbourne clients who want to invest.
Yes.
Will you be able to tell me how does it work?
Now, as Ajit said previously, so the foreigners and locals both can purchase this Dusitthani, the beachfront apartments. So they consist of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments plus penthouses. So I would like to go back a little bit, and then the total project, when it's complete, nearly 485 apartments, and so it's available to foreigners as well as locals to buy freehold. So I'm helping the local clients who is willing to invest in these apartments. So I believe it's a great investment opportunity, plus they can go there and relax when they're back in Sri Lanka for 21 days free, and there's no ongoing costs. So it's a great opportunity for the investors.
Okay. So what's the starting price?
The prices are starting from US dollars 200,000.
That will comprise for a 2-bedroom apartment? Or?
That will be starting from studio apartments.
Studio apartments.
Yes.
And then you got studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. Does it work like that, like
Yes.
here?
And the penthouses.
And also, when you buy a Dusitthani apartment, what you're buying, you get the furniture included, so which is about 10% of the price. Plus, what you're actually buying is not only apartment, you're buying into a business. So you're buying into a property plus a business with a cash flow. So it's not just the property itself.
Okay. So, I mean, you told us about all these facilities. How big is the land? And
It's 8.5 acres beachfront land in Balapitiya. It's one of the largest land holdings between Bentota and Galle. In Sri Lanka, if you know the beach area, there are certain limiting factors in getting a large land parcel. One is the Galle Road runs near the sea. Another factor is we got the railway running near the sea. And the third factor is that a lot of the titles down south aren't clear. So when you add those three, you get limited land holdings. And secondly, nobody else has approval to build over 4 levels apartments on the beachfront in Sri Lanka.
okay. Ajit, now you told me that with this investment, it's a 6% net income. Will there be any other hidden costs like body corporate fees and etc.?
No, there isn't. There aren't any other expenses. 6% is net. So if you invest $100, you get $6 back. So things like the body corporates are included in that. And for example, if someone breaks a glass, that's included. So 6% is net.
That's excellent. Now talk about capital gain. We'll be able to briefly advise our viewers how that works.
Yeah, sure. Basically, the capital gains depends on supply and demand. This is the only beachfront apartments in Sri Lanka, actual beachfront. So there's a limited supply, and so because of that, there's bound to be capital gains because of that fact.
Now talk about tourism. Now if you compare, now you told me your head office is in Thailand and they got somewhat very similar. With the tourism, what do you think about now with the Sri Lankan tourism and the Thailand tourism?
Sure. Sri Lanka has close to 2 million tourists coming to Sri Lanka, which is great growth considering during the war 6 years ago we hardly had any tourists. So growth has been quite phenomenal. But if you look at Thailand, they have 40 million tourists. We have probably better beaches than Thailand. And we have history, we have culture, and we are probably in a better location than Thailand to Europe. We are closer to Europe, 4 hours from Dubai. When you consider all those factors, Sri Lanka has a lot more to grow. And the fact that we have the only beachfront apartments,
no competition.
We have no competition in Sri Lanka. So Dusitthani, from a rental point of view, Dusitthani will have the only apartments on the beachfront that anyone can rent.
That's excellent, Ajit. Sampath, now, if any of our viewers want to invest and want to contact, have you got a website as such and a telephone number you can share with us?
Yes, we do. So they can go to Dusitthani srilanka.com website, or they can directly contact me, and then so if they need further the information, on my mobile.
Thank you, Ajit, and thank you, Sampath. It's been very interesting talking to you. I'll be one of the people who would like to invest because you have given sufficient information about the organization, and also I was quite interested with that 6% net US dollars. That means a lot to lots of investors in Australia. And let me wish you all the very best, and looking forward to seeing you once again in our studios.
Thank you.
Thank you very much today.
Thank you.
There's no better place on earth. Yeah, I dream of you, Sri Lanka. Yeah.
I pray for you, Sri Lanka.